Next, we have Steve Kandra. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning. I'm Steve Kandra, Maryland Tule Lake farmer. Kandra Farms is struggling through its 99th year in the Klamath Basin. My Czech immigrant father came here because of the rich virgin soils and irrigation waters. The harvest of 2010 is a harvest of tears for my family and the communities in which I live. We have survived through decades of water conflict and finally are to a place where we have a plan for self-determination and resolution with most of our neighbors. Now a portion of our community, which has never suffered supply injury, dictates to us dams are more important than water to family farms and ranches, and restorations of fisheries vital to our local cultures, heritage, and economies. Tens of thousands of productive farms, acres lie idle today, not being harvested, and there is denial this very day by many that there is a problem and need to manage our water resources more wisely. The farming and ranching communities of Merrill, Malin, Tule Lake, Bonanza are suffering from devastating economic loss. And there's denial by leadership in Klamath Falls that their loss impacts their businesses or services. We are willing to sacrifice a $300 million industry for dam ideology and what produces a small fraction of economic value that the farms do. Dams do not grow food for our community and nation. Dams do not provide thousands of local living wage jobs. Dams do not pay mortgages, and dams do not raise and educate children. Healthy communities do, and our community is not healthy. Opposition to the water settlement is being financed by subdivision and disassembly of our family and farming community. There are those that will profit from this Holocaust and ethnic cleansing. Look around this room and witness those that advocate dams are more important than viable and profitable family farms and ranches. The restoration agreement is about water for farms, family farms, and ranches. Klamath County posts signs that claim we honor veterans. Where is the honor when whole Klamath irrigation project districts that were settled by veterans only receive half the water they are promised for their sacrifice of blood, sweat, and life? The Klamath tribes give special honor to their veterans every time they gather. Do we? No dams are more important than honoring the sacrifice of our local veterans. Commissioner, my community of family farms, ranches, small business, and veterans and tribes grows weary of the greed, denial, and prejudice that dooms the Klamath Basin to being economic and political backwater for the rest of our great nation. It's time to take a stand.
Next, Frank Goodson. Good morning, Frank.
Good morning, Commissioner Hugel, Commissioner Weiser, Schweitzer, and Elliott. Thank you for providing this opportunity to speak today. So yesterday, well, let me comment first about your order and the whereases that went with it. Do you have a copy that any of us could have?
David, yeah, should be available after the meeting, after we vote. Is that correct?
You have mine.
Okay.
Thank you. So it's ordered that the board hereby refers to the voters a question of whether the county should discontinue participation in the KBRA process. This referral is filed. 2 copies. All right. I think this is a lot better than the voters not having an opportunity to vote. I think it would have been more helpful if we'd had copies of this in advance. I do believe that all the whereases, however, are biased, and they're designed to influence the voters' vote. And since Friday, I've been trying to find out what you people would come up with, and we couldn't find out until now. So yesterday we submitted a letter, and it said we respectfully request the commissioners put the following advisory question to the people on November 2 ballot. And this is what it would say. Should the Klamath River dams be removed as required in the KBRA, Klamath Basin Restoration Agreement? Yes or no? And from our perspective, this is a lot more simple thing, and it's just as adequate. It doesn't bias things by having a bunch of whereases explaining our point of view. It just says, do you want to vote yes or do you want to vote no? And you know, I ran this by state elections people yesterday too, and they said that this is fine in terms, thank you, Al, for the letter of the law.
I lost track there.
You might give me 30 seconds for having to read this. But at any rate, so our proposal is, and I gave it to you yesterday, so I know you have it, is a lot more simple, and we recommend and request that you eventually pass that instead of yours, but pass one or the other, but preferably ours. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Frank.
Commissioner, just if I might.
Oh, yes, Dave.
Just to clarify, just so you're aware, if it's not clear, the whereases you were referring to, they don't go on the ballot. The district attorney drafts the ballot title, so none of that would go on the ballot, just so everybody's clear. Right? This is just referring it to the clerk so that then the district attorney can draft the ballot title, which would be whatever question you're talking about.
Thank you, Dave.
So would they go on anything that's on the ballot? No one can. No one gets to read it unless they come get a copy from you.
It's a public document,
public
but
document.
It doesn't go on the ballot title or anything of that sort.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, it's certainly hope you approve one or the other. We think ours is still better.
Thanks, Frank. Michael Luft.